Hi, welcome to the Moms on Maternity YouTube show and podcast. I'm Aimee Cruz, and today we have on Sasha Morozov. She is the founder of Sasha Home. After having a very diverse career prior to starting Sasha Home. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Thanks so much for having me on. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. I'm excited for today's discussion. I love your journey. How long have you had Sasha Home?
So I've had Sasha X Home for almost like a year now, and it has been incredible. I mean, one of the things that I love most is helping working moms and really helping moms, especially after they have a new baby, on getting ready to transition back into the work life as well.
Wow, well, that's perfect because that's what this brand is all about. So very excited to meet you and connect with you. How do you help them transition back to work through your Sasha time? Is it Sasha X Home? I apologize. Sasha time.
It's all good.
How do
It's
you
all
say
good.
it?
Sasha X Home. It's like a Sasha collaborates with your life at home. And that's what it's all about. Especially one of the things I always find is that when you start having that identity as a mother, that's a huge deal. But what we don't talk about is the identity of a working mom. And that's big. That's really, really big for people. We don't give ourselves enough time for that transition. So that's where I come in. I have a course on it, but I also work one-on-one in life coaching where I'm able to take moms through that journey where they're scared. This is a totally new avenue. And I know they've worked before, and a lot of times they've worked the corporate ladder as well. But what happens is that life kind of takes on new meaning when you become a mom.
So you have two boys, is that right? So do I. How old are
Yes.
your kids?
I have a 9 and a 4-year-old.
Oh, amazing. So you're coaching working moms during this period of their life that, that's why I started this company. It's scary going back to work after you have a kid. There's a lot of feelings that come up. Is that separate from Sasha Times Home, or is that part of that? It sounds separate.
No, it's actually all part of it. So I
Okay.
offer life coaching for working moms, and that's really the focus because I feel like we as working moms, there's so much we do, so much. And I feel like at the same time, we kind of put it on ourselves, on our shoulders. It's society looks at us in one way. There's so many things that we're kind of bringing to the table. We're trying to do it all. And what I always say is that you can have it all. It just might look different than what you imagined.
Wow, I love that quote. Can you deep dive on that a little more?
Yes. So I think one of the things is that we try to do it. We try to do it all, and we feel like that means we need to be super fit and healthy. We need to like our kids need to be like having A's in everything, or if you're a new mom, that you need to be perfectly home at 5 o'clock, and that's it, and that you should be able to get the 8 hours of rest, and that somehow everything is going to go like smoothly by plan, and you're never going to have like baby throw up on your work clothes and all of this stuff that really in reality it's not. If you put yourself at a high bar like that, you're going to crash and burn. But instead, if you truly dig into what are your priorities, like if you truly dig into, you know what, this is going to take me some time to adjust. So guess what, I'm not going to be doing 20 million activities on the weekend because that's the time I'm going to need to recharge. When you try to really understand where you're at and what your priorities are, that I believe is when you really do have it all, because then you are able to give yourself the space for the self-care that you need. And then we know, I feel like when it's a happy mom, happy life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw somewhere that resonated with me recently, like the number one way to take back your power or to just to feel more in control is just saying no to more things.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's what I say. But we kind of do it to ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that somebody is saying, your kid needs this class or that class, and you need to, make sure you RSVP yes to every invitation that comes your way, and your house needs to be clean and perfect, and that you need to be this like amazing wife if you have a partner in the home. But in reality, is that, you know what? It's so much. It's so much to put on ourselves. So when we are able to just stand up and know what we stand for, know what our priorities are, our values are, our family values, because all of that changes as well when you have a child. You look at your partner in a different way because you see them in a different way. And now, especially women that are transitioning back to work, again, their priorities are going to change, evolve one more time. Because first it was just keep the baby alive, change them, feed them, all of that stuff. And now it's like, I got to get myself up. I got to make sure I take a shower. You can't just hang out in the yoga pants if you're
I
leaving the
love
home.
everything you're saying. You are like the exact person that says, like, the way you're articulating it is better than I've heard most people do. It's really, really nice. I see your system, you focus in life coaching on self, home, relationships, and systems. And in your bio, it said you're really focused on just having kind of an organized, well-designed home and like a minimalist philosophy. How much of that is part of this? Because what I'm hearing is like life coaching, helping a mom really understand her priorities and her values, which is something that can be done within probably a few weeks, right?
Yes, and that's the self part. So the 4-step method is really, that's really where we start at, is the self and the focus. But then we move into the home, because to me, home is really where the heart is. I know it's cheesy, but I love it. And it's really about what is your physical space, because that really resonates with your mental space as well, and your mental health. When you have a lot of things, you know that if you have a clean, organized, I'm not going to say minimalist because that's not for everybody, that's okay, but clutter-free home, what happens? Naturally, you're happier. Naturally, you're enjoying your space. And another part about home that I've noticed, especially when kids get a little bit older, it almost becomes as like a drop-off station. That it's like you come in, you go from like one activity to another, and that people are just like flying in and out, instead of really just spending time enjoying their space, creating a space that works for them, and having their own space within the home. I think it's so crucial for moms out there to be able to have their own space. When you have your own space, you're able to really take the time to decompress, to just take it all in and be able to be you.
So what is this service there? How do you help a mom get her home in order?
Yes. So we talk about exactly what it is that they're looking for in that space. So going back to those priorities. So if somebody is trying to incorporate more like creativity in their space, right? Then I'm saying, well, let's make an art station. Let's make it, where is it that we can kind of set it up in a space that you walk by and you're happy? If somebody really wants to bring more memories or like different generations into home, how can we create like having big family pictures? How can we create that space if someone's like, I don't feel connected. I feel like everyone's like locked up in their rooms watching TV. No one's like hanging out in the living room. Well, how do we create that living room that people want to be in? It's not just about the furniture. It's about, if you have older kids, then it's really about like, how do we put like board games or the memory, like memory books or things that are sentimental. So it naturally just creates conversations and naturally creates almost like a gathering space. What do you use?
I love that. No, it's like really what you're really doing is helping them come up with their vision and then giving them the energy to bring that to life, which is cool. What about relationships?
Oh, I love relationships because I feel like we as women are natural caretakers. We're natural caretakers. So what that means is we're usually the ones doing the schedule, taking care of the chores. We're the ones that are making sure everyone and everything is set up. But what happens when we hold all the cards is that, one, we don't give the opportunity, if we have a partner or older kids in the home, for them to be able to be a bigger part of the family as well. And two, we end up burnt out. Come on, if you're the only one doing everything, anything, everything at home, you're going to naturally burn yourself out at some point, versus having those conversations, setting up for success with the partner, and figuring out what are some of the things that you can let go of in the home so you can start to have time to actually enjoy the space that you've now created. So you've figured out your priorities, you've created the space. Now it's creating that more time, because you're not just cooking and cleaning and laundry and all of this and wrapped up into it, that you have that support that you're looking for, so you can actually relax and enjoy some time in your home.
Mm-hmm. resonates, I'm sure, with most all of us listening. So how does the life coaching work? Is this like a group workshop, a one-on-one thing? Is it, you said it's an online course?
So the online course I have is a 1-hour course that's called Going Back to Work After Having a Baby. So it's specific to moms that are in that transition and are trying to better understand, okay, what do I need to do to prepare so that way I'm not burnt out, so that way I'm not exhausted by the end of the day. But the one-on-one life coaching that I have is a 12-week program that goes through the 4 steps that we kind of just discussed in a way, the self, home, relationships, and habits, because I truly believe you can read things, you can listen, you can watch, but at the end of the day, if that hasn't worked for you yet, it's probably because it hasn't been individualized enough. And working one-on-one gives you that outsider perspective, gives you somebody that's going to hold you accountable, is going to be in your corner, is going to really make sure that you're reaching the goals that you're looking for as well.
Well, and how much is the online course really tailored to like a baby, you know, like nannies pumping, like versus a mom with an older kid?
So the online course is only just going back to work after having a baby. So it's really geared for women they can do it as early as pregnancy, or I basically tailored the information to about 2 years, because that's what I found. In the first 2 years, women are really going back to work at that time period. And it looks different. It looks different today than many years prior. One of the things I always explain is, and it's part of the course, is the fact that like we in years prior, many women were having children younger age.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't even enter the workforce till after their kids were older. Versus today, where we've spent time in our careers, we've climbed those corporate ladders in many areas. So we have different responsibilities we're stepping away from during maternity leave and stepping back into as well.
Does the online course, what's the format? Is it like videos? Is it a journal? What is it?
Yes, it's a video, and it comes with like the questions that I walk people through. There's like 24 questions I walk people through for them to answer, because again, I want it to be as individualized as it can. And it has a journal part at the end of it as well. Mm-hmm.
So do they get a mailed journal to them to use during the course?
They're able to download the PDF right away. So that way they can, it's fillable, because I know sometimes like for me, it's like if I'm doing something like, oh, I got to write that down. And if the questions are on the screen, but I got to like write it down. So that's why it's a fillable, it's easy.
Congratulations. I think that sounds really cool. How's it going? Are you getting a lot of feedback from moms? How long do they work with you? Are they all doing 12 weeks? Do some people do less, more?
You know, it's funny because it's the opposite, that people tend to go more than one round, because people are like, oh, this is great, I got to this point. But then they see they got to this point, they're like, oh, wait, I could actually do more. So every time it's different. But
do you meet with them weekly?
Yes, absolutely. 1-on-1 weekly over Zoom, unless they're in the LA area, then I'm happy to meet in person. And it really is so amazing to see when people start to realize and see that it's not just possible for somebody else, it's possible for them. And that there's like a map to get there as well.
Wow. That's amazing. What's your best piece of advice for a busy working mom?
My best piece of advice, outside of the fact that, girl, you're probably doing too much, so give yourself a break. My best piece of advice is start to focus on something that's a positive versus something that you're trying to restrict yourself of in order to get into a healthy habit. So what happens that I see is people always say like, I want to lose 20 pounds. I want to be on social media less. I want to spend more time with my kids and all of this. And what I say is, okay, but what's one positive thing that you can do for yourself? It doesn't have to be the yoga. It doesn't have to be the spa day. What's like one positive thing that you enjoy? Because when you start doing that and you start to implement it, there's so many other benefits that trickle down as a result of it. Because guess what? That's one less hour.
What's an example of one of those that you see?
So an example, so I'll give you a couple. So for self, so if it's even as something as simple as like reading. So somebody say, I really want to read more. I have never enough time, or, because I'm just busy all the time. I'm saying, well, how can we just spend 1 hour in the next week? Where's 1 hour you can carve out just to read something simple? Give yourself a low bar. I'm not saying where's 1 hour that you can go across town to some like class or this or that. What is something simple that you can really start with today?
Cool.
And that way, when you get into that, then it becomes a routine, it becomes a habit. And outside of that, you're doing something you're looking forward to. Versus I'm gonna try to not be on social media, and then you're thinking about going on Instagram all day because you're like, I'm not gonna touch it. It's just a different mindset. Or like if you want to connect with your partner, right? What is something that you enjoy? It doesn't have to be like a night out. I feel like I hear this all the time. We need to do more date nights. Well, maybe a date night of just going out to dinner sounds pretty boring to you. Maybe instead a Sunday morning hike sounds much better because that fits with who you are and what you're looking for. That's a great date. But most people just have this assumption and they're like kind of in this box that it has to look a certain way when really they enjoy other things.
So let me just recap what you said. The best piece of advice, and I know you have probably so much advice because this has been a really great conversation, is identify something that brings you joy, that fulfills your cup and makes you feel grounded, and make sure you can get that in once a week. I mean, did I say that right?
And that's simple. Yes, that's simple. Start with simple. Start with those small steps. Those small steps are going to make the biggest difference versus saying, I'm going to sign up for something. I'm going to, have this date night every single week. Or now you're running home late from work and you're mad at yourself that you're not going to, get to wherever and there's traffic and all that. Start simple.
Awesome. And what's the website for people to find your course and more out about you?
Yes. If you're a working mom, head on over to SashaXHome.com.
Awesome. I'm going to check it out for sure. I probably should have checked it out before the interview. This sounds amazing. Like I said, I've talked to a lot of life coaches over the years, and I think your formula for working moms is probably one of the best I've heard ever. So thank you for your work. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. It's honestly an honor because as a working mom, I don't want to feel that it's all on me. And I want to feel that I have a sense of freedom. And I think that's really part of the work that I do is just giving people the sense of freedom and enjoyment back.
Well, your energy is infectious. I mean, you have a really great persona. I think that's even just a huge benefit of just getting face to face with someone like you. That's sort of like, what you remind me of? So one of the best things I've done this year is I hired an executive assistant, and I meet with her every 2 weeks, just pure business. Like, what do we work? Where's the team working on this week? Because I was just like, what's the priority for this week? And it's really focused on the businesses, right? And so you're basically that for non-business, really?
Yes. Yes, I love that you said that because one of my biggest things is the fact of that, you would be killing it in the office. You're the person that everyone goes to, and then you come home exhausted, overwhelmed, and you don't have the mental capacity or freedom or anything to do that at home. So I say, you know what? If you are taking those management courses at work, you're doing all this extra course, why are you not investing in something that outside the office you spend the most time with, which is your life at home?
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. I'm sure I'll be talking to you again. So have a great evening. Thanks for this wonderful discussion. SashaXHome.com. And we'll talk again later. Thank you. Bye.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks for watching. For more, please visit www.monsumaternity.com.